Hey, it's Jared. This is my review of the Mavic 4 Pro, and I held off purchasing this for quite a while because I was afraid of what might happen with the DJI ban here in the United States. You see, I've been a drone pilot for a long time. My first drone from DJI was the Phantom 2. Over 10 years ago, I purchased that drone, and I've upgraded almost every single year to a new version of a drone at some point, and all of them have been DJI drones. So I have a lot of experience with their equipment. And I'm also a Part 107 drone pilot. So I fly commercially, and I got my drone license a number of years ago, which actually led to me getting my private pilot's license so I can fly actual airplanes, something that I've wanted to do since I was a child. So before I jump into the review, I just want you to know that DJI has never sent me a product to review. They've never sponsored a video. I've never even had a conversation about anything like that with them. Everything I have purchased for my own use and to use for my business. And that is why I decided to upgrade to this model. The conveniences that I have seen other people talking about outweigh the potential drone ban, whatever the situation is going to be, whatever that looks like. The conveniences of this drone are the hugest factor. You see, I have the Mavic Pro 3 Cine Edition, and that drone checks all of the boxes as far as how fast it moves, how good of images it captures, and the safety features that it has. I've got no complaints with that drone, and I've owned that drone since the day it was launched. But there are convenience factors that have been slowly chipping away at my desire to use that drone anymore, which led me to upgrade to the Mavic 4 Pro. First, let's get the ban situation out of the way. It is likely that there will be some form of a ban. DJI has been trying to jump through the hoops that the US has been putting in front of them, and it just doesn't look good. And I don't want to get into the dynamics or the politics behind all of the reasons. There are plenty of people that have made those videos, and I've watched several of them. But the reality is that there's nothing that comes close to what the Mavic 4 can do for the price here in the US. So whether or not the ban goes through or not, I'd either be left flying the Mavic Pro 3 for eternity or choosing to upgrade and seeing what happens. Now, it seems like over the last 6 months since all of this started to unfold, it's been really hard to get DJI products. Even non-drone products like the Osmo Action 6 have had long lead times. So let's talk about all of those convenience factors I mentioned that the Mavic 4 has that the earlier versions of the drone does not. First of all, it's setup time. The setup time for this particular configuration with the RC Pro 2 controller is significantly faster than what I've ever experienced with the other drone. You see, I simply pop off this cover right here, which I think is a better cover than any cover that DJI has produced, and unfold the props, and then open the control, and everything is powering on and ready to go. I'm maybe sitting at like 45 seconds so far. The remote is powering up for the first time in a little while. And this first initial power up is what will take the longest. You see, maybe we're at like a minute and a half at the most. And if I was outside, it would be connecting to the satellites faster and I'd be ready to fly. One of the unique things about this drone is that as I close this down, it goes into sleep mode, and then I can fold in the props, which is something I would do if I was going to, say, another location to film. I would fold down the props and essentially put the drone away, and it powers itself down, and the RC Pro 2 remote will eventually go into a full standby mode in which it keeps Bluetooth connection with the drone for, I think, probably around 30 minutes. I haven't actually timed it, but it was definitely quite a while. So that when I go and pull the drone out again, the process of it starting back up is going to be much faster. So I do a lot of real estate and construction sites, and moving from location to location and having to power up the drone and turn it off and power it up and turn it off is a time-consuming process. Now I just simply open the remote back up and it just goes right back on instead of having to worry about things being powered off or powered on. Then I just unfold the drone again. It powers itself up really quickly, and within a few more seconds, it will be connected to the remote, and I'll be ready to fly again. There it is, and the camera is already on and it's preparing to take off. So the convenience factor there alone is huge compared to the amount of time that I would spend with my Mavic 3. Now let's talk about file transfer. This particular drone has 512 gigs of internal storage. My Mavic 3 Cine also had a good amount of internal storage. I would often use the internal storage instead of using the SD card, even though you could put a micro SD card in either of these drones. It was just much faster and more convenient to use the built-in storage. But with the Mavic 3, I actually had to power that thing on and then plug in USB-C into the drone in order to get it to connect to my computer so that I can move files off of it. That is a really annoying process. You got to unfold the drone, get it set up so that way when you power it on, the gimbal isn't hitting anything or the props aren't smashing into my table, and then I can plug in USB-C into the back of the drone. The Mavic 4 Pro does not require that. I don't have to power it up at all. I just plug USB-C into the back of it, plug that into my laptop, and I can start transferring files off of the drone without having to power it up. That means not having to deal with anything. If the battery's dead or I'm charging all the batteries, doesn't matter because I could plug into the drone and offload files from it. That's a huge time saver, especially when I'm somewhere like a coffee shop and I don't want to have to pull out a drone and turn it on in the middle of a coffee shop just so that I could pull files off of the drone. The charging hub also saw a huge upgrade. Of course, there was a charging hub with previous models of the Mavic, and it was powered by USB-C. So if you had a high wattage power bank, usually you can get these in, 150 watts or whatnot, you could plug in and it would charge up the batteries pretty quickly. However, this one supports a much better connection to the 240 watt power brick that comes with the Mavic. There's also been a huge upgrade to the charging hub that results in faster charging to all of your batteries. Of course, it supports charging 3 batteries and it does have USB-C, which is what the previous model had, but it also has a DJI proprietary connection here and also comes with a 240 watt charging brick, which means it can charge these batteries up really fast. And the difference between using some sort of a USB hub that might have 100 watts, 150 watts, compared to this 240 watt is that these batteries are going to be charged up much faster. And I've experienced fast charge times on these batteries. I'll go and throw 2 batteries in here, go and fly the drone for just shy of 30 minutes and come back, and these batteries are charged up and ready to go. The problem that I had in the past, especially when charging in a vehicle, is not being able to get my batteries charged as fast as I'm using them. When I'm flying my drone and I'm doing bigger properties, I'm flying for several hours and I need my batteries to charge up at least as fast as I'm using them so that I can keep being productive, flying my drone and capturing what I need to capture within the allotted time. Otherwise, I'm going to end up having to buy a bunch of extra batteries coming at a greater expense. With this setup here, I found that I can continuously fly as long as I have this power brick and I could plug it into something, whether that be the AC outlet in my truck or an external battery bank that allows for AC power. I can run this connected to this charging hub and charge the batteries just as fast as they're draining when I'm flying the drone. Now, these days, I'm also capturing a lot of landscape and portrait view content. You see, we don't have a square sensor in this drone, so we can't just simply film in one orientation and then crop later. Hopefully that will come with like the Mavic 5 Pro if that's something that we ever get to see. But with the RC Pro 2, I could simply rotate the display and it rotates the gimbal and the camera as well, which means I can simply move into these different positions and grab the footage that I need, also have a full screen view as opposed to the other remote controls, which is just going to show me the portrait mode and I'm going to lose a bunch of real estate on the screen. I'm not actually going to be able to see things as close up. Rotating the display gives me that full view so that I can still see what's going on and have finer detail without any of the guesswork. So there are certainly a lot of other upgrades to this drone that go far beyond the convenience factors. Yes, there are camera differences, gimbal differences, sensor differences, runtime differences, all of that good stuff that is well covered in many other videos that are out there. But if it simply comes down to image quality, the Mavic 3 Pro was an excellent option and something that you can still buy here in 2025 and save quite a bit of money only because of its reduced price at this point. Where the Mavic 4 Pro shines is in all of those convenience factors, which are quality of life upgrades when it comes to using this on a daily basis, especially for those of you who are on the go and want something that's fast and responds quickly. So there is one insurance policy that I took out just to protect myself against this potential drone ban. Should the DJI ban go through and I'm unable to get any replacement parts or fixes for any problems that I have with this, I'm going to be covered under the extended protection plan that I purchased. You see, there are sellers on Amazon that have these drones, as well as B&H and several other retailers themselves that have these drones in stock now, and the majority of them offer some sort of extended coverage plan. If in the event that your drone gets damaged and it's unable to get repaired or replaced due to something like a ban, then you'll get refunded for the original purchase price. Now, I verified that both Amazon and B&H Photo have plans to cover you in this way. However, the plan on Amazon is significantly cheaper, and I was able to find a lot more information about the experiences that people have had needing to use their extended protection plan to replace or repair a DJI drone from an Amazon protection plan versus the one on B&H. The one on B&H is also a lot more expensive, so that's definitely something to consider. Because here in the US, if I go into the menu where DJI Care typically would be within the drone software, it says not available in the US. So should I have any issue here with this drone over the next 3 years, I can take advantage of that protection plan. And if they can't fix the problem, then I'm just going to get my original purchase price back, and hopefully there will be a better option, or this whole DJI ban will have been figured out by then. So if you're interested in seeing some of the photos, I have a online gallery on my website that I'm going to be adding to as I fly this drone more and more. So check out the links in the description below. I also have a link to my Mavic 4 Pro gallery. So if you want to check out some of the images that I've been able to capture, some of the video clips, use that link down below to my website where you can check out that gallery. If you have any questions, let's talk about it down in the comments section. Thanks so much for being here. We'll see you in the next one.